Over the years, we've done a ton of best of gun videos on the channel. Best assault rifles, best SMGs, best snipers, best maps. You get the idea. But one thing we've never done is go through all of those best categories for a single game in a single video. And I want to give a huge shout out to YouTube user Alessandro Russelli for dropping this idea in the comments on a previous video. And if you have an idea for a COD history video we've never done, lay it on me. I love getting you guys involved with the series. So today, welcome everybody, Jimmy or Chaos, to the channel. We're trying something new. We're going to kick off a new series where we choose one Call of Duty multiplayer and we go through the best gun from every weapon class. And what better way to start the series off than to start with Black Ops 2. So we're going to go over the best assault rifle, SMG, shotgun, sniper rifle, LMG, pistol, special, launcher, all in Black Ops 2 multiplayer. And when we get to the end, I want you to tell me where you agree and where you disagree and which Call of Duty game we should do next. Drop a like, and if you want this series to continue, you let me know. We're going to start off with the best assault rifle in Black Ops 2. Let's just start off with a hot take. The Scar H. Look, Black Ops 2 was loaded with assault rifles. AN-94, M27, M8A1, Fallow SW. Even the starting MTAR was pretty insane if you knew how to keep the recoil under control. But I always come back to the Scar. I do. I come back to it as the best of the best. It seems like more people are starting to come to that conclusion as well. Back in the day, everybody talked about the AN-94 and the M8A1 being the most busted rifles in the game. I do see why the M8 was the competitive rifle of choice due to that insane burst TTK, but the Scar H had something special about it that made it way more versatile. A lot easier to use while also being ridiculously powerful in basically every situation, be it point blank or across the map. The iron sights, some of the cleanest in COD history. The recoil, super low. Two bullets if you were aiming high, and that was it. Even if you were across the entire map, it still only needed 3 bullets to drop somebody. Literally. The only downside of the Scar H was the fire rate, which was relatively slow, 625 rounds per minute, but if you were only hitting people twice before they died, that's a ridiculous TTK. So technically, the M8A1 had a faster theoretical time to kill because of that burst. And technically, the AN-94 was easier to control. But I think the Scar H was the best rifle in the game because of that insane 2-shot potential and that ridiculous 3-shot kill range and the super clean iron sights that meant you didn't have to use an optic attachment and you could instead run the stock, run the suppressor, maybe quick draw, turn it in to an aggressive 2-shot machine. People would run around the map with the Scar H, quick draw, and a stock and treat it like an SMG. There's also people who would kit it for accuracy, laser enemies from across the thing. It was so versatile. I definitely think it was the best assault rifle. Now we move over to the best SMG in Black Ops 2. This one's not a hot take, and there's really not a question or a debate. It's the MSMC. It's still seen as the best competitive SMG in Black Ops history. I'm not going to argue. It was meant to be a solid, well-rounded SMG, but it ended up being insane in every situation. So basically every competitive player in Pub Stomper was using it, although it did have a bit of a learning curve, which kept it from being maybe too powerful. It can be frustrating when a Call of Duty gun is ridiculous in every situation and super easy to use, but Treyarch made sure there was some guardrails on the MSMC by giving it some hefty vertical recoil you'd have to learn in order to unlock the true potential, or you could just throw on the foregrip and not have to worry about the recoil. It was dumb. Fired at 750 rounds per minute, made it one of the slowest firing automatic weapons in the game, but it made up for that. It had some really good handling speeds and a ridiculous 3-shot kill range. It dealt 40 base damage for up to 13 meters. So it was always going to kill in 3 bullets in close range engagements, and guess what? It's an SMG. But then from 13 meters all the way to 27, it dealt 33 base damage, meaning it was still a 3-shot kill as long as you hit at least one headshot, which wasn't hard to do since the vertical recoil was constantly moving you up. Basically, if you aim center mass, you were going to land a 3-shot kill up to 27 meters, which is kind of dumb for a submachine gun in Call of Duty, and it made the MSMC feel like a melt machine. At longer ranges, needed 4 to 5 shots to kill. 750 rounds per minute fire rate, still fast enough to keep a decent time to kill in those engagements. This was one of the most versatile guns in COD history. And even though other SMGs like the Scorpion Evo had a faster time to kill up close, the MSMC was hands down the best overall weapon in class. Now let's talk about shotguns in Black Ops 2. I have to give it to the KSG. I've called this shotgun one of the best in Call of Duty history several times, so naturally I'm going to gravitate to it being the best shotgun in Black Ops 2. The first true slug shotgun ever put in a Call of Duty multiplayer experience, meaning instead of having a wide pellet spread like other shotties, it fired a single projectile, did flat damage to the target it made contact with. This made it a lot harder to use. You had to be super precise with your shots, basically treat it like a sniper rifle, but the payoff for hitting your shots with the KSG was absolutely worth the work you had to put in to get good. It would deal 200 base damage to anyone it touched up to 13 meters, meaning you could hit somebody in the toe, and they'd immediately drop to the floor as long as they were less than 13 meters away when you pulled the trigger. But the ridiculousness of the KSG didn't stop there. It actually happened after 13 meters. The base damage dropped to 75, but with a 50% headshot bonus, meaning you could still instantly kill people with headshots up to 32 meters. Yes, this was a shotgun that could instantly kill up to 32 meters if you aimed high. So you see what I'm saying when I say it was more like a sniper than a shotgun. Had a super tough learning curve because of how small that hitbox on the slug was, but it was so worth the effort to get used to it because the ammo capacity was so high and the one-shot kill range being so good. It was one of the best guns in the entire game. Absolutely the best shotgun in the game. One of the best shotguns in Call of Duty. Now we talk about sniper rifles in Black Ops 2. I'm going to go with the Ballista. If I was making this list when the game came out, I would put the DSR 50 up there respectively. But since we're making this video in 2024, it's the Ballista. It's not hard to... it's not hard to say the DSR was a bad gun in the beginning, and then it got nerfed a little bit. But if you boot up Black Ops 2, it's still good. Excellent bolt-action sniper. It's no longer the versatile killing machine it was. The Ballista. The Ballista, on the other hand, it was ridiculous, and it still is. The Ballista features a pretty quick fire rate, 47 rounds per minute, which sounds slow, but it's quick by bolt-action standards, and it also came loaded with a 7-round mag by default, which is pretty big for a COD sniper at that time. But what really made the Ballista so popular was the silky smooth handling. That quick aim-down sight animation. The one-shot kill range was smaller than the DSR. It required you to hit somebody in the upper chest in order to instantly kill them, but it was a motivator. It was a motivator for you to get good with snapping on targets and dropping them before they could react. It felt good to use. Once you got the hang of the firing speed and the ADS animation, you could get some of the best clips out there. It's not to say it wasn't as good as a traditional slower sniper rifle, but it had a role and it played it effectively. It really, really did. Plus, it was a ton of fun. And as soon as the DSR got that infamous nerf, everybody gravitated to the Ballista. Now let's give some love to the best LMG in Black Ops 2. And look, I say love and I know we hated it, but come on. It's the LSAT. It has to be. It's so powerful. It really, really is. It's crazy, 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 crazy. If you try to spawn into certain Black Ops 2 plutonium servers with an LSAT on your class, the LSAT will just be replaced with a B23R handgun. I'm serious. I mean, if you do get to use the LSAT, you'll be treated to a ridiculously strong LMG. Deals 40 base damage up to 33 meters. Makes it virtually always a 3-shot kill. Fires at 750 rounds per minute. Basically no recoil. Insane cover penetration. 100-round default mag. Spray and pray away all day. The reload animation is a whopping 7 seconds long. But when you consider how frequently or infrequently, you're going to be reloading, it's not a big deal. But what really made it shred through entire lobbies was the target finder and then the FMJ attachments. You already know, I'm not going to go through this. You know, I know, it's definitely the best LMG in Black Ops 2. Now it's time to pick the best pistol in Black Ops 2, and this was not easy because the pistols in Black Ops 2, they were different. And it has to go to the Cap 40. First pistol ever be banned in competitive play. It's not hard to see why. Fully automatic handgun. And it had a damage profile that rivaled some of the best SMGs in Black Ops 2. And yet, you could run it in your back pocket. I still remember seeing videos of people running around with the Cap 40 as their primary weapon and dropping 60, 70, 80, 90 kills like it was nothing. And eventually, Treyarch threw their hands up and banned it from competitive play instead of rebalancing it, which also means it was never nerfed. And if you boot the game up right now, it's still insane. Fired at 937 rounds per minute. Hits for up to 45 base damage. The range was pretty generous. It decreased the base down to 33 per shot about 12 meters out and then going to 24 at 20 meters. So basically, you were killing in 3 to 4 shots while firing at 900 rounds per minute. With those super fast handling speeds of a gun, reload animation that was almost instant. It was crazy. You only had 15 rounds in the mag, but with extended mags, it took it to 20, which made it a lot easier to dominate lobbies. And again, it was a pistol. This wasn't even supposed to be a super powerful weapon, yet it was more than capable of cleaning up damaged enemies and taking full health foes without much issue. The time to kill was nuts. The handling speeds made it a force. Now let's talk about the best special in Black Ops 2. I'm going to go with the Ballistic Knife. There's a handful of special weapons in the game, those being the combat shield, the crossbow, and the Ballistic Knife. Some people prefer the combat shield, but personally, I was a Ballistic Knife enjoyer. It was pretty easily the best version of the weapon in the entire franchise. Some people put a ton of work into getting really good with it. Not only was it a fantastic melee weapon, and the knifing in Black Ops 2 was janky, so having a good melee weapon would give you a pretty huge advantage at close range, but also had a reload animation that was super quick. It did. It was satisfying. It was incredibly effective if you knew what you were doing. If you somehow managed to get gold camo on this, you're a champion. I mean, gold camo required you get a bunch of bloodthirsty medals and kill a bunch of people with retrieved knives, both of which were super difficult. So I want to know down in the comments, did you unlock it? And the last but not least, the best launcher in Black Ops 2, I'm going to go with the FHJ-18. Lock-on launcher, best friend if you're someone trying to keep the skies clear for your team. And if you are that person, I commend you. Keep the enemy team from getting too many UAV assists or easy stealth chopper kills. The FHJ came with 2 rockets. Very quick lock-on that would almost always destroy enemy streaks with a single hit, or, 2 at most. It was actually immune to the EMP effects, meaning you could still lock on to enemy streaks and equipment with it, even if your HUD was disabled. And the EMP was blocking the lock-on notification, which was a nice touch from Treyarch. It was a great launcher for being a team player and keeping those skies clear of UAVs, counter UAVs, stealth choppers, escort drones, and you could even do some cheesy things with it, like lock onto sentry guns, lock onto guardians, cause a big ground level explosion that took enemies by surprise. So it's not the best weapon for actually killing people, but I think it was the best launcher. It was a ton of fun. And there you have it, my friends. If you enjoy this series, let me know which Call of Duty we should do next, and I'll see you soon.